It's good to know you are still there. It's Pathfinder on AKBC TV. It's the first segment of the program. As I promised you, we are going to make your life on your Monday morning very interesting one. So just stick around and enjoy the show with us. The first segment, as I told you too, I have with me on Pathfinder seat today the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Research and Documentation. When we talk about research and documentation, we're talking about the activities that is happening in the states, how to keep a record of it, and how to make people see and know what is going on. So you will agree with me that when I say that he is yes, it's qualified to talk about the present administration of Governor Pastor Mobasi Eno, because that also is part of what he is assigned to do in his office. So join me as I welcome you to the program this morning. Our guest for this Monday morning is Sian Ndweso, PhD. Good to have you on the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan. I think it's been a while. I saw you, and from what I can see, it appears that this government is of more benefit to you than more people that I know, because you're really waxing stronger and stronger. I congratulate you on the entire KBC family.
Thank you very much. It's not a lie, because I decide to make sure that I benefit from it. You know, there are people who don't want to benefit from it by their attitude and lifestyle, but I benefit from it. So I'm happy. You're right.
Okay.
So how has it been with you?
Yeah, fine. So far, so good. We must really thank God for what God has done in Akwa Ibom State. The government of Pastor Umoino has brought a new dimension in leadership. The bottom to top approach of leadership, where he feels that those who are the downtrodden should have the first piece of the cake before he can now go up to those who are up there in the rungs of the ladder. Right now you can see the different programs that this government has put in place has touched the less privileged, the vulnerable. And in fact, what I could call the anticlimax was what happened Wednesday last week when the governor's 60th birthday beckoned. All of the groups, individuals, organizations in the state were all on each other's heels, trying to be the first to reach an orphanage, trying to be the first to reach a vulnerable home, and so on. And there were so many people at that lower rung of the ladder who were touched by the compassion, the affection, the love that exuded across all corners of Akwa Ibom State, as radiated from the governor himself. He had said before that day that he doesn't want people to go on the media spaces to pay money and do goodwill messages for him. And rather they should use that money, channel them towards the less privileged in the society. And that was what happened that day. And the spirit was, it was simultaneous. I could go to this orphanage and I see this group is already there. I go to the other one, others, and then the pictures all over the social media. I think it was really a day that people who felt maybe that they have been forgotten, they have been abandoned, by the society, felt loved, they felt that warmth. And that was Governor Moino himself, talking to them, reaching out to them through all of those people who admire him, who admire his lifestyle, who admire his carnage, who admire his disposition, and decided to key into it and also emulate him in terms of reaching out to the less privileged. So I believe that in the last less than 1 year, almost a year, because next month, talking about 29th of May, we are going to have 1 year of this government in office. And within this period, we've had the homes for the vulnerable built by the governor. He's planning to build 400, and so far over 30 at advanced. Some are completed, some are advanced at advanced stage of completion. And then we've had the food for the needy made available through the bulk purchase agency that he also created. And so we have people who don't have the means of getting food for themselves, just like we have in advanced societies, also having to take place in Akwa Ibom State. And this another example of where Akwa Ibom State has recorded the first. So you have other states of Nigeria now trying to see how they can copy. Some of them have come to see the model we're using, in the state, to reach out to the less privileged across all of the nooks and crannies of the state. And then you also have the road network, the rural development programs, the massive investment in agricultural development that this government is also backing. In a nutshell, that is how it's been so far. And if anybody is happy, it should be a true patriotic Akwa Ibom person, because in reaching out to the needy, in reaching out to the less privileged. Those are our brothers and sisters, of course. You know, if they don't come to you, they'll come to me. And so if the governor has decided that on his own he's going to take them, off that burden, that stress of having to go look for a way to eat and feed them himself, then that means the governor has helped us to a very great deal. And so I believe that is one major aspect of him that we should love. Don't forget that before he became a governor, people were there were all of these semantics, all of those propaganda and political talks about him not being a giver. People say, oh, this man is from the private sector, he will not give, he's not a full-fledged politician, he doesn't know politics, he will not be able to reach out, he's not a number one, and all of that. And people like us who knew him, those were not true, because we had been, he actually operates from where I come from. I know in Northern you also lived naked for years. I can say that you're a naked daughter. Yes. And so you know that this man, through his business, his investments, has also reached out to the less privileged. He has been reaching out to the vulnerable. In fact, anybody who, out of his own success, his own personal success, decides to start a church where he can reach out spiritually and of course materially to people, that person naturally is a giver. So when people were saying that he's not a giver, when they were doing politicking and saying, oh, it's politics, let's talk down on him, we knew that they were lying, they were not true. Okay. And now the governor has clearly shown that he has always been a compassionate person who, with whatever he has, wants to share first to those who are vulnerable in the society. And I think that is a culture, that is a tradition that we in Akwa Ibom State should emulate. Okay,
that's a good one. I mean, as from the way you are speaking, it has even shown that what the governor have done, he's not yet 1 year in the office, if we must say, that at least a lot of people are benefiting from what he has been able to do. But at the same time, it will not go well with everybody. It's not everybody that will appreciate his style of leadership. When I was doing my introduction, I talked about the use of the worship center. I talk about his affiliation with people from other political parties. I also talk about the fact that he's trying to make peace by making a lot of people, he attend events, and you see people that come to the events, something different from the normal and all that. No,
what the governor preached, don't forget that during the campaigns, and in fact, the last port of call before the elections was at the NLC Secretariat at the Tanafort. And there, he made a very passionate appeal to the labor force and indeed the Akwa Ibom people. I am the only person that is coming into this game without any baggage, without any grudge against anybody. I don't have any score to settle. I will come, I will further reconcile Akwa Ibom State. I will unite the state. Vote for me. Those were some of the lines I remember he said that day. That he is of the reconciliation ministry. And so with him at the helm of affairs, Akwa Ibom State will be even more united than ever. And that is what is materializing right now. You've seen that he does not even wait to be invited. Once he hears that an Akwa Ibom person, is in a position of authority.
They are using the word Akwa Ibom person.
Yes, irrespective of his political disposition.
That's the point.
The governor will reach out to that person. He had already said that he has opened his hands to welcome everyone. After all, the time of politics has passed. Now it's time for governance. And people know that from May 29, 2023 to May 29, 2031, by God's grace, it is going to be known as the Omoino's Golden Era. And all the developments that happened in Akwa Ibom State will be known as the developments that took place while we had the governor in the mold of Pastor Omoino at the helm of affairs. And so he's doing everything possible. Don't forget that when his tenure ends by God's grace in 2031, people will not come and ask him how many people he was able to fight. People will not come and ask him how many scores he was able to settle. People will not come and ask him how many acts he was able to grind. People will ask him what he did for the Akwa Ibom people. And that is what the governor, even from the first day he hit the ground running, he's been trying to keep records of records. This is a governor that came in and had promised that he was going to even hasten the process of clearing the backlog of gratuities of retired workers.
Okay.
He's doing that. So far, almost 15 billion naira has been released for that.
That is on record.
For that purpose.
Okay.
You know, to ensure that those, because this also falls under those people also fall under the category of people you know as the vulnerable. They are the aged. They are no longer strong enough to do the active, activities that some of us are able to still engage in. And so he considers them in that class, and that is why when he says it, that he is embracing the bottom to top approach in government leadership, we are seeing it, you know, in black and white, clear and as crystal. And then we talk about the issue of reconciling, you know, reaching out and meeting people. His governor says that he's a governor for all. In fact, yesterday, day before yesterday, or a couple of days ago, when he was talking about there's another program he does for the elderly, you know, across the state. Every month he assembles them from across all parts of the states, you know, selected from different parts of the states. And then he gives them 50,000 naira. He has a party with them, and you know, makes them have that sense of belonging.
Even with that, some people are still reacting that is not reaching out to all.
I said at that forum, the last one that was held, he lampooned because he had feedback. And don't forget that this governor is a governor that does not just sit down in the office, folds his sleeves, and sends people on errand. He also goes out himself to check whether they are carrying out this assignment in, you know, exactly how he had you know, envisaged. And so he lampooned and said that he has heard that some people in some local government areas are even going as far as taking more people from you know, among their relatives instead of making, you know. So if he finds out that that is he verifies that, he's going to, you know, deal decisively with such persons. That shows that he's not doing this thing for political sake. And he said it, and that's the part I wanted to even note, that when he is giving out these incentives to people, he's not giving it to PDP people, he's giving it to Akwa people. And so people, irrespective of political affiliation, should be included in the empowerment schemes that he is putting forward to people. So this Arise initiative for the elderly, he said, and as emphasized, is for all Akwa people at that stage of their life where they are not able to take care of themselves, the elderly, you know. And don't forget that he has also is also putting in place what is known as what is going to be known as the elderly home, social events center for the elderly. You know, the elderly are sometimes we forget about the fact that these people are from a different you know, era to our own. We are in an era where, you know, the bunch, you know, whiskey and all of those people are making us to dance and groove, you know. Whereas these people are from the era of the Young Henshaws, the you know, the Peter Efium, the of this world, of Kopan and so on. Those people will dance to those other music better. Those music will resonate in their memories. They will remember the days they used to go to Luna nightclub, they used to go to Namoba and so on. And so if you have that kind of place, you know, in Akwa Ibom State, you will see the elderly from across the states. All once is the, you know, maybe the happy hour for them, you know, they will all assemble there, and they will have those the relics, those historical you know, perspective to lifestyle being played back for them, and that will resonate in them, and that will also you know, ignite in them that passion, that drive to still stay on, feeling, you know, having a sense of belonging and feeling loved and cared for. So that's what the governor is trying to put in place, and that is one of the things that that has confirmed the fact that this governor is really not just talking for the sake of talking, but is actually all out to make sure that people in the states, beginning from the downtrodden, have a sense of belonging. That's why the theme of this anniversary, as we approach the anniversary, you see that the theme for the celebration of the governor's 1 year in office will actually revolve around his compassionate stand. The fact that he's a man who has inner desire to reach out to the poor, the vulnerable, the neediest in the society. Okay.
Now, would you attribute the style of leadership of affecting the downtrodden, or let's call it the less privileged people in the society? Because from the rumors, when he wanted to become the governor, they were talking about the fact that he's an albino, and now he's on the seat. This is a golden boy and all that. Would you say he is having no interest, or let's say compassion, for these people because he is from among them, if you will call it like that, or is there something?
Yeah, there were so many attacks against him, and it was really surprising because in Akwa Ibom State we always know that here in this part of the country we do not discriminate. We have genuine love for our kith and kin, and even for visitors. That's why people love to come here to do business. It was so unfortunate that during the campaigns, a section of the political gladiators decided to attack. Not just, in fact, it was not even the issue of his skin complexion alone. It was even his qualification. People that even went to school with him and knew that he had the certificate, still were the ones that went to say, no, he didn't go to school. Imagine how you feel. And that is another part of him that people have also failed to highlight. This is a governor who genuinely went to school. I know a young man in he's not a young man actually, but actually he's a media person, and he's also in that UP a category. So even though he's in his I think his 60s, but he still appears as if he's a younger person. Okay. Emmanuel Paragon Bong.
He may be young in the mind.
So he said that he started school. He was there in St. Francis Secondary School in Otago when the governor was there, and then the governor left the next year and went to Lagos to stay with the parents and continue school there in Lagos and so on. And there were people we saw in Victory High School, including even the chairman of Ibom Airport Development Company, talking about Dr. Inebe, who had been in Victory High School with the governor himself. And we had his classmates who had a get together and celebrated him. A school principal in Victory High School gave him an award as a worthy ambassador of the school. All of these things were glaring for everyone to see. Yet people still took him to court, slandered him and abused him. Some even went and made mockery of him, singing songs and all of that, and so on, just because they wanted to demarket him, just because they wanted to deride him. And then others went out and said, oh, he's an albino. And unfortunately for them, going that route even became a marketing strategy for the governor, because Her Excellency the First Lady of the State came out to say, well, you people call him an albino, but I know him as the golden boy. He is my golden boy. And that is what became the campaign slogan for the people of Akwa Ibom State, for all of those in the campaign committee of their RISE campaign organization. And that better the golden era. And so people inadvertently, like Joseph said to his brothers, you thought you were doing me evil by selling me into slavery, but God turned that captivity into a blessing for me, and that's how I have become who I am in Egypt today. It's not necessarily because of his complexion, it's not because he's in that category. It is just innate in him, because I can tell you there's so many people who are who would have the kind of this kind of situation that he has, but would not even think of others. There are people who are saved, who are helped, who are given the ladder to climb, and once they reach the top, they look down and completely discard all of everything that has to do with circumstances and all of that. But the governor is different, and I can tell you that even before he became a commissioner, even before he became an appointee of government, he had always been reaching out to the less privileged. I can give you an example. There's this program that youth used to organize in a part of the state, known as the Safe Youth Initiative. It's a program that entrepreneurs will gather, highlight what they do, put out their business, business plan, and how they hope to make it. And all of them will just sell their products and their their services. The panel will be there, who will judge, and the first three, people will in different categories will emerge as winners in that program. And he was one of those who sponsored that program, and he will also offer incentives to those people to go improve or expand on their businesses based on the promises that their respective businesses hold. So he was always a giver. During the campaigns, I remember. Even before the campaigns, when he was appointed a commissioner, when he was a commissioner, and then we used to go to events, I would see that of all the commissioners, this is the only one that will stand up from his own seat, go to other commissioners, you are eating a fan, Let me see, even taste this your afang soup. If it's the same as the the one we normally cook, and so on. You go around. Oh, you have two fish. Let me take one. And it was exemplifying that. He was always exhibiting that in functions, going around, showing that natural love that you will see between brothers, between siblings from the same womb.
Okay.
And so people start to say, this man, are you sure it's not because of politics that he's doing all of this? But it was not because of politics. Because even after becoming a governor, he would have done away with all of those lifestyles. But he's not doing that. He's still the same jolly good, leader that he is. Look at the other day, he went to the offices of staff at government house. He didn't care whether someone was in level 6 or level 5. He didn't care what level, what category, what grade level you were. He entered the office, sat down on the table. Oh, this is where you work. Oh, you don't have fan here. Okay, I will make sure there's a fan. Going around. Oh, you are a gardener. Imagine even entering the office of a gardener, entering the office of a gardener, someone who is not really categorized, in civil service grade. Oh, this is, you've been working here for 30 years. Wow. Okay. Do you have children? All right. Give me a child. I'm going to employ a child in school immediately. That is the kind of leader he is. Humility fits him like a second skin. If people said at that time during campaigns that he was doing it because of politics, how come others were not also doing it? Okay. Because acting is not easy. Acting is not an easy, it's not something you can just overnight start doing. It will fade. Just like the show young people normally watch on pay TV, where people sit, some young people are assembled in a room, in a house for over 60 days or 90 days, and then they are meant to exhibit their lifestyle, and people vote based on how they are able to maintain the particular lifestyle. You know that some people that start pretending in the first week, before they enter the second week, their true nature will come out, and they'll say, oh, so this person was faking, and that's how that person loses the ratings from the populace. But here is a governor who has been consistent. Even when he was not a commissioner, he was behaving that way, and then he became a commissioner. It's the same, that same humility. And then the governor is still that humble Pastor Moyo that we all knew back then in Eket local government area. And so I believe that people should take a cue from him. That humility, for some of us, has been the catalyst for his meteoric rise so suddenly in politics. Now, that takes you back to the issue of how he became, a commissioner and a governor. This is a man who sat on top of a conglomerate of businesses. He was doing so well. In fact, I remember my uncle saying that this is the first person that has come to the land of his birth, Eket local government area, to build the tallest building in Eket local government area. That is how influential he was. All of the services, the business, he was really, really very, very comfortable as a businessman. But then he had a call from the then governor of the state, Mr. Dom Emmanuel. Oh, you're doing very well. I want you to come and work in our government. Okay. For someone at that level who is who is controlling. In fact, he was even called the governor, though he will always insist that he's always with a small g. He was called the governor because he had so many people he had employed and was paying salary every month. And he was invited. So you would expect that he would be given a very high position in government. But what was he given as an appointment? He was given the position of an executive director of agri-investment. If you look at the position of an executive director of agri-investment, working in the Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation, you will feel that this is quite a small office compared to what you were doing, compared to the fact that you are going to abandon your business, because for you to work in public service, you must resign from your private practice. So you're going to leave all of those investments you're doing to come and take over an office that is not even going to pay you as much as what you were getting in your private practice. He would have simply said, "Oh, thank you, Excellency, but you see, give it to someone else. I'm actually busy." He could have just done that. And if he had done that, he would have been appointed a commissioner, and he would have become a governor. Who knows? But that was possibly God trying to see where the humility he is exhibiting, where his quest for service was genuine. And so he accepted that appointment. And what was he supposed to do? To go around taking stock of all of the farmers in Akwa Ibom State. In fact, the first assignment was given then, I remember, was that he must take an inventory of all genuine farmers in Akwa Ibom State so that they can be in a position to benefit from largesse, for incentives of government for farmers. So we don't have political farmers coming out to get all the inputs that the government at that time was supplying to farmers. And he did that. As at the time he was appointed the Commissioner for Lands, he had taken stock of all of the farmers, going from Oborokara to Obodme, down to Mbo, to Nsuru, everywhere in the state, taking, writing names of that possibly has been the reason, when he became a governor, the issue of taking a role had already been something he's used to, because we know what he did was, within the first 6 months of his government, he asked that the social register of the state be updated. People should appointed personal assistants from all of the wards, and then ask them, as part of their first assignment, to update the register of the vulnerable in their locality. So that was what he did. And then he was later appointed the Commissioner for Lands and Water Resources. That, for people, would not be the most lucrative position in the cabinet. But he still accepted it graciously, because that was what he desired, to serve. Any platform for him that can enable him to serve people, he was disposed to it. And that humble beginning in governance catapulted him into becoming the chosen one. The one that when the smoke, like they said in the collective parlance, when the smoke oozed out on the 30th of January 2022, it appeared that he was the one that was favored, just like David in the Bible was favored among the children of Jesse. Okay.
Now what we are simply saying, in quote, in summary, is that his humility is not a sign of weakness. He has always had this from when he was doing his personal business.
He has always been a humble man.
He's bringing it to a larger scale for us to see. All right. So as you are just watching us, the program is Pathfinder. We are taking a look at Governor Moino's style of leadership. The program, the segment is not yet over. Just for us to go for a little break. When we are back, we'll continue.